You know, the more advanced a sci-fi rifle is supposed to look, the more stuff they bolt onto it, like rails, glow, a barrel the length of your arm, or even a weird revolver-looking drum magazine. Which is strange, because guns have spent 100 years trying to become smaller and lighter. So the future gun and the actual future are pointing in opposite directions. And the best place to catch it happening is the one future rifle every sci-fi fan thinks they already know, the Morita. Looks like nothing on Earth, right? Big, chunky thing. The Marines lug it around the whole film like it's the cutting edge of the year 2400 some odd. But peel the shell off and it's a Ruger Mini 14. A little ranch rifle your granddad could have bought over the counter in the 70s to blink rabbits off his lawn. They slung an old Ithaca pump shotgun underneath it and wrapped the whole lot in a molded plastic bullpit shell called a muzzleite, and they call it the future. A bunny and duck gun wrapped in a plastic onesie. That muzzleite stock turns up everywhere. Total Recall, Terminator 2, same trick every time. Grab a gun that already exists, drop it in the funny shaped shell, and point a camera at it. The future! And it's not the only one. Take the Steyr AUG as well, though really it barely even needs the help. It already looks a little bit spacey straight out of the box, which filmmakers delightfully use. It just shows up as itself again and again. RoboCop, The Running Man, Predator 2. So why does this keep working? Why can a prop guy take a 40-year-old rifle, stick a couple pieces of extra plastic on it, and your brain just goes, ah yes, tomorrow's weapon? Well, the advanced part of weaponry has to land in about half a second. Nobody's reading a spec sheet mid-firefight, so the look does all the talking. And the quickest way to make anything look advanced is to just pile more onto it. Give it lasers and shiny lights, a scope the size of a coffee flask, a mag drum that doesn't fit any ammo that you could name. Pile enough on and the eye just buys it. Which would be fine if real guns worked anything like that. But they don't. An actual military burns a fortune doing the opposite, stripping the rifle down, shaving grams off of it, getting it out of the soldier's way. The thing Sci-Fi decorates like a Christmas tree? Well, it's actually dead weight. But adding junk is only the first part to laugh at. The stranger move is everything Sci-Fi refuses to take off these guns. Parts that stopped earning their place a long time ago, still hanging out there for a reason nobody on screen could tell you. Go to Blade Runner for a second. Deckard's blaster, that fat chrome thing everyone loves. Oh, hey wait, no, that's not a rifle. Perhaps we'll cover things like pistols another time, though it's all the same problem. We'll go for the worst rifle out there. The one nobody seems to be able to hit with. The E11, the one every trooper in the galaxy carries. In real life, it's a Sterling, a British submachine gun from the 1950s. A prop guy on the first film just liked how it looked. Slapped a scope and a bit of plastic down the side, and that became the standard issue weapon of a galaxy-spanning empire. On that first film, those Sterlings were live, working guns, firing blanks, with laser bolts painted in afterwards. Which means if you freeze the right frame of a trooper letting rip, you should actually be able to see brass cartridges tumbling out of the gun. Although that whole principle, it's kind of everywhere. The Rebels in Return of the Jedi, well, their blaster rifle is a modified M16. The big heavy blaster the troopers hump about is a German MG-34, a machine gun off the back of a World War II half-track, painted black with a bit of ribbing glued on. It works for a film set, but every single time, it drags the full skeleton of a bullet rifle into the future with it. The magazine, the bolt, the little port on the side for spitting out brass, not one bit of that does anything for a laser. All of it's still, well, bolted on. Pardon my pun. Now, you'd think, fine, that's just old films being thrifty. But there's two problems with it, or maybe three. First, even now, when they don't grab old guns, but just design them in Microsoft Paint or something, the designers still draw the mag, the charging handle, the ejection port cut into the side for cases that are never really coming out, because there's no such thing as a case anymore. Second, the recoil. Watch an actor fire one of those plasma rifles. Shoulder braces, the gun jerks back, the whole body sells the performance of a heavy round going off. But a bolt of light has no weight to it, so theoretically there should be no kick to it either. The actor is flinching off a gun that, if any of this were real, would sit dead still in his hands. Oh, and there's more. Something Space Doc already pointed out long ago, specifically about plasma rifles. Plasma is basically just gas heated up so much that it starts to glow. Which sounds right up until you remember what gas actually does. It spreads straight away, like immediately. Let a puff of hot gas go, and it doesn't sail off in a tidy little ball. It balloons out, and then it's gone. So that fat glowing bolt traveling down the corridor, well, it theoretically couldn't happen. A real one would puff into nothing about 1 foot past the barrel. Fire it outside, and it's worse because hot air rises, so your big scary plasma bolt would actually just drift up toward the ceiling and get blown away in about a second on the breeze. How the hell would you even be able to aim that if it even were able to go further? So yeah, that's a lot of problems. Which begs the question, which way should they actually be heading? Well, if you look at history, for about 100 years, the rifle's just been getting quieter, lighter, and easier to hide. That's basically where all the effort's gone. It's probably the third time I've said it now, but please, bear with me. Right now, the US Army's dropping millions on its next rifle, and a big chunk of that is, weirdly enough, going to making it shut up. The new ones come with a suppressor on the end as standard, not a silly screw-on movie silencer that goes ding ding, pew pew pew, or all those other stupid noises. A proper one that drops that bang a few notches and hides the muzzle flash while taking the edge off the kick. Which makes sense the second you sit with it. The thing that gets you shot is being seen. So in the dark, your muzzle flash basically shouts, "Hey there, I'm over here!" And the noise does the same job. So a real soldier spends his whole life trying not to get spotted. So the gun better follow that plan. Nobody wants to haul a great long heavy thing for about 9 hours either way, only to get spotted once you try firing it. Now, picture a stormtrooper. Glowing power pack, and every shot lights the corridor up like someone hit the big switch. The bolt's a fat neon streak that honestly you could read by, and it's just announcing exactly where you stood. They're also in completely white armor, when the planets they're usually on are, not white. A real army would lose their minds. That glow is the one thing they pay a fortune to get rid of. And Sci-Fi looked at it and said, "Nah, more of that please. Stick it on the front because it looks sick." And you know what? Fair enough. It does look sick. And we all know that size doesn't matter. That's what my girlfriend always said. The big ones hurt. Anyway, it's probably the same for guns. Big feels strong, so big it is. Now, my totally non-research take on this would be that bigger guns make sense if defenses are getting better too. You'd need more mass to penetrate it. But the amount of, devastation? Is that the right word? I don't know. Well, the amount of damage would be based on the amount of speed and the amount of mass of the bullet. A bigger rifle could mean bigger masses, but futuristic tech always just goes the other way. Faster, but smaller bullets. That's my take. Like I said, I did zero research on it. Maybe you could do your part in the comments for me, I don't know. Now, I feel like I've been talking in circles about what's wrong with sci-fi rifles. So, what does it actually look like when a film does, somewhat, have the right idea? Well, Alien got the right idea with the M41A, even though they made a little mistake at first. Thompson from the 1920s, with a chopped down shotgun bolted on for the grenade launcher. I'm totally fine with using the Thompson, as right now the military is also just upgrading existing rifles, so they can too. But they lost me at the shotgun grenade launcher thingy. They did one thing the others don't though. They picked a single proper future idea and actually followed through with it. The rounds are caseless. The bullet sits in a little block of solid propellant that just burns up when you fire, so there's nothing left to throw out. And that's a real thing people have been chasing for decades, by the way. It's not made up. It's the one bit of this gun that faces forward. Because of that, they also tuck a little counter on the side. Digital readout ticks down every time you pull the trigger to tell you how many shots you've got left. In addition, that just makes sense, because now the thing can run out, and once a gun can run out, every shot you take off of it costs you something. Watch the Marines in that film. They keep flicking their eyes to the number, so do you. And when someone sat on 30 and the corridors filled up with things that have far too many teeth, your stomach just goes. That counter's there to scare you. It's a number ticking down, and it does more than all the neon in the galaxy. And that's sort of the whole point. Nearly every sci-fi gun gets louder and shinier to feel advanced, and the guns end up feeling like, well, less, because nothing's ever really on the line. This one handed you a way for the gun to fail you halfway through a firefight, and now it feels like an actual weapon, the kind you'd lean on and sweat over. It's not even hard to do. People skip it because it's the boring option. Taking something off never looks as good in a trailer as slapping another scope on the rail, so nobody bothers. And so the rifle rifles just keep getting busier. The more I sit with it, the Sci-Fi rifle points the wrong way for a reason that's actually got nothing to do with the soldier carrying it. A real future gun would be built to vanish, which is about the worst possible quality for a thing that has to live on a screen. And that is why we need them full futuristic and just loaded with lights. But you know what we don't actually need? Plot armor. And if you've ever wondered how you can deal with plot armor in the best way, how about you click here to find out.